What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in Fortnite Arena, Division 7 is definitely one of the hardest divisions to get out of, with sweaty champs players in your lobbies, a higher bus fare than previous divisions, and the general nervousness that comes along with being almost done with your champ's journey. There are plenty of issues that can occur and stop you from hitting champs. So in today's video, what I'll be doing is going over some of my top tips and strategies for anybody who's struggling to get out of Division 7 and into Champions League in Fortnite. But one more thing before we start, I want to mention that I've recently started up a giveaway with a longtime partner of the channel called NOVOS. If you don't know by now, NOVOS is the ultimate training platform for Fortnite with tons of exclusive guide content, customized training routines, and so much more. For this particular giveaway, there's going to be 5 winners, and each winner is going to get a 3-month free subscription to NOVOS, as well as 1,000 V-Bucks for absolutely free. All you've got to do in order to enter is head to the top link in the description, go through all the steps, and then you're going to be emailed or sent a Discord message in a few weeks if you do end up winning. So the winners are going to be selected in about a month from the time I'm posting this video, and once again, 5 winners, each getting 3 months of NOVOS and 1,000 V-Bucks. So if you want to go ahead and enter the giveaway, be sure to head to the top link in the description, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first tip that I have for this video is going to be a pretty interesting one, and that's having multiple drop spots. In Fortnite, your games are going to vary a ton, and especially in Arena, sometimes you're just going to be feeling a different style. Sometimes you might want a W key, other times you might want to play placement, and that's why I recommend learning 2 or 3 different drop spots. What this will do is basically allow you to auto-regulate your playstyle, and in essence, you can just adjust your gameplay whenever you want to. The biggest mistake that I see players make in Arena is not having an early game strategy, but I also understand that landing at one single spot every single game can get really old, which is why I love this method. The method is really just a great middle ground between the two. For the specific drop spots, I recommend you pick 3 different spots: an aggressive spot, a mid-level spot, and a passive spot. An aggressive spot would just be a spot where you can land, get a ton of kills, and just W key. Some of these spots would include Pleasant Park, Boney Burbs, Corny Complex, and other spots like those. A mid-level spot is usually a named location, but tends to be slightly less contested than the crazy spots on the map. Some prime examples of this would be Dirty Docks, Retail Row, and Stealthy Stronghold. At a mid-level spot, you're typically going to run into a few players, but nothing insane like the aggressive spots are going to have. And finally, guys, the last spot that you should have, or the third spot, is going to be a passive spot. For a passive spot, you want something that's rarely contested, and if it's contested, it'll usually only have 1 or 2 people. Usually these are going to be unnamed locations such as Camp Cod, the houses northwest of Steamy Stacks, or the lighthouse that's near Stealthy. With that said, knowing 3 spots is super valuable, as depending on the game, you can choose one of your spots, mix up your playstyle, and still be generally familiar with the best strategies for that spot. This will allow your arena games to feel fresh and less repetitive, which can in turn help you gain points much faster. So with that said, my next tip for this video is going to be one of the most critical tips for anyone who's stuck in terms of arena points, and that's going to be to find out why you're stuck. For most players in Fortnite, getting stuck at a certain point level often comes down to a specific trait, habit, or mistake. For example, you might have poor shotgun aim and get killed in box fights because of it, or you might be making bad rotations in endgame that get you focused and eventually killed. Obviously, there are tons of hypothetical issues you could have, which is why taking some time to simply look back at your replays and try to spot what you're doing wrong can really give you a good idea as to how you can improve and start gaining points again. If you can figure out a specific weakness that's holding you back in Arena and then focus specifically on fixing that weakness, you should see a ton of progress really quickly. With that said, my third tip for this video is going to be another really useful one that's helped me push through multiple point plateaus, and that's mixing up game modes. In Arena, if you stick to a single game mode all the time, whether that's solos, duos, or trios, it's going to be really easy to get burnt out, and you might reach a ceiling simply because there's no variety in your gameplay. So with that said, if you find yourself playing one particular game mode all the time and you can't seem to gain points, then I recommend you try to mix it up and just see how you can do in other game modes. Whether you tend to play a bunch of solos and you decide to try out some duos or trios, or you play tons of duos and want to try some solos or trios, or whatever situation you may be in, switching it up can give you some really good practice as well as helping you boost your points. As well as that, guys, I know a lot of you struggle to find teammates, and that's why some people tend to play lots of solos, so if you do need some people to play with, then be sure to check out my Discord server down in the description. In the server, we have a ton of looking for group chats sorted by region, so you can find a bunch of awesome teammates to run Arena with. Once again, the link's going to be in the description. Moving on to tip number 4 though, and this is another tip that I don't see many players doing, which is having a consistent strategy. Strategy can come in many different forms, and different players are obviously going to play in very different ways. But with that said, if you watch pro players who have tons of arena points, you're probably going to notice that many of their games look very similar. Whether they have a specific drop spot or just drop aggressive every game, whether they go for tons of kills or focus on placement, the basic premise is that they have a strategy and they do it consistently. You could think something as simple as, I'm going to land at a medium population spot, get 1 or 2 kills, and then rotate out, or you could do something more advanced like using the exact same spot and loot route every game, and planning out your rotation paths as well. Either way, the overall goal here is that every single time you hop into a game, you already know what you're going to do and you have a consistent strategy to gain points. You'd be surprised how much difference this can really make, especially when a lot of your lobbies are filled with players that pretty much just aimlessly drop and don't have any consistent plan. And if you have multiple drop spots like I discussed earlier in the video, then you're obviously going to want to adjust your strategy depending on where you're landing, since different spots are going to require different strategies. Moving on from that, another tip that I have is to learn from pro players. Whether you're looking for new mechanical plays, new rotation strategies, or even something like positioning, watching pro players is easily one of the best ways to gather new information and in turn improve at the game. You can do this in a variety of ways. First, you can simply watch a Twitch stream from a pro player, as you probably know, but there's also plenty of YouTubers that do really good analysis content, showing some great fighting and rotational strategies that they learn from pros. A few people that come to mind include Jivin TV, Reese Hub, Destiny's Jesus, Ken Beans, and I'm sure there are plenty of others as well. And if for any reason you don't want to watch YouTube analysis videos, you also have the option of watching plain footage on YouTube, so you're getting the best bang for your buck. Searching something like Arena 20 Bomb or Arena Win footage, for example, should bring you plenty of good videos, and obviously you can mix up the search terms. And from there, obviously you're going to want to make sure that the gameplay is up to date, and you can simply watch the gameplay and try to learn from it, maybe take some notes or whatever you want to do. However you decide to do it, whether you watch live streams, analysis videos, or plain footage, watching pro players in Arena and learning from them is definitely one of the best ways to improve your own skills and become an insane Arena player in Fortnite. Moving on to our last tip though, and another tip that I've given quite a bit in the past and one that I find super important, especially in Division 7, is to take breaks consistently. Whenever you're trying to gain points, especially when there's bus fare involved, it's super important that you stay in check mentally and you go into every game focused and fairly fresh. So if you find yourself getting tilted after a few rough games, getting tired, or simply not playing very well, then don't be afraid to take a break. Whether the break consists of 10 minutes in creative to chill out, maybe grabbing a snack or a drink, or you could take some more time off and go take a nap, go work out, or anything along those lines. Overall though, when you're grinding to champs, especially in Division 7, it's super important that you make the most out of your games and try not to lose a bunch to bus fare. So if you ever feel like something's off, or if you're just not in the mood to grind out points, then don't be afraid to take some time off and come back stronger next time. But with all that said guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video on how to escape Division 7 in Fortnite. If this video helped you guys out, be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more content just like this in the future. And once again guys, the giveaway that I'm hosting with NOVOS is going to be linked at the top of the description, so be sure to go and check that out if you're interested. With that said though, thank you all for watching this video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.